In today's video, we are going to be attempting to beat 99 nights in the forest without using a single weapon. I am not allowed to use any guns or even my axe, whether that be to harass an innocent little rabbit or to fight off these weird-looking dudes who want to marry me. Let's get started. Day 1. My friend Tao and I immediately got to work. I was in charge of food, and he was in charge of getting us some nice long wood to work with. After a bit of collecting, I had our first 7 carrots. I was locked in, swiping carrots left and right. And there we have it, map expansion. I immediately went ahead and raided a few structures, even finding myself a big sack in the process. I found a bit more junk on my way home, and that concludes our first day in the forest. And by night, we were absolutely stacked. My bro even found a fuel canister on top of all this coal. Anyways, seeing that the deer was looking a bit shy, I went to introduce myself, but he just ended up running off. Probably just my aura at work. And just like that, we are on day 2. And I had my eyes locked on a chest in the distance. And what did I find? An entire bandage. Not too disappointing. Anyways, we had a ton of materials now, and it was time to get crafting. I upgraded our workbench twice and bought ourselves a sundial and a map. Things were looking really good. Anyways, after that, I continued my expedition into the unknown to look for scraps while my friend Tao here was busy chopping down wood. Found a bit more coal, but that was about it. Day 2, complete. And now on to day 4. I immediately climbed this tower and got a bit more scraps elsewhere. And now it's time to craft the crock pot. Since our diet literally only consists of carrots and grapes, this was absolutely vital to us not starving. And boom, my very first stew. Awesome. Anyways, putting a bit more crap into the fire, we were able to unlock map level 4, which is pretty sweet too. Now, we're on to day 6. The first wave of invaders were coming, and we needed scraps fast. Exploring for a bit, I stumbled upon this empty warehouse, which is pretty strange. This section of the map was unexplored before I got here. Anyways, I found a few more scraps and also this house with this big fat chest inside of it. Opening it, I found some kunai knives. Dangerous. Yeah, we won't be needing that. Putting in all my random junk, we had a bit more scraps now, which I used to buy some bear traps with. These don't really count as a weapon, because after all, it isn't my fault they stepped on my bear traps. And here they come. Deer guy was here too, just watching. With some teamwork, we led our friends here over our bear traps. I would set up the traps, and Tao would lead them over the traps. One guy even tried hiding behind the sign, but he was no match for the master of baiting himself. And before you knew it, they were all dead. Easy work. Day 8. I saw this unregistered section on the map and wanted to check it out. And that's when we found the first missing child base. Yeah, that's gonna be for later. I even found myself another big sack, which is just completely useless. Anyways, I saw this treehouse and made a run for it. Did end up making it, but the wolves nibbled on me a bit. No biggie. Inside, I found a coal and a microwave that really wanted to get out. Also, unboxed myself a better axe, which is pretty sweet. I got us a bit more carrots on the way home, and that concludes our day. And now, we were completely stacked in materials. Crafted ourselves a biofuel processor for easy fuel, and also yet another bed. We also got the farm started. Things were honestly looking good. Day 10. Right off the bat, my friend starved to death, which is a bit of a bummer. I quickly rushed over though and healed bro. Anyways, going deeper into the woods, I found myself a restroom, and since I'm such a proud feminist, I ran straight into the women's bathroom. Only found a good axe, which I already had though. Not much really happened this day for me, but Tao somehow got ourselves like 50 pieces of scrap, which is just insane. But now we had an idea. With all of these scraps, we were going to use shelves to wall it off just to provide an extra layer of defense. Immediately, we got to work. Even had a few left over by the time we were done. Now we were looking extra stacked. Day 12. Our super dense wood farm was finished, so I got to chopping. Yeah, this is a ton of wood. We were able to fill this entire shack with our big, long wood, which is really nice. And that brings us to day 14. Oh, nah. Looks like the weird cult people are back. Despite having these beautiful walls, we still needed to prepare some bear traps. I got ourselves some more fuel so we don't run out during the night. We're just gonna hope that all of this is enough along with some extra bear traps. Oh, heck nah. Since when did they have crossbows? As usual, this stupid deer guy came to watch too. And right off the bat, this guy mounts our entire wall with one single jump. I guess they're not as good as I thought. While I tried trapping this guy, I was also getting shot at. Things were looking dire. I was able to finish off the guy who got inside. We killed what appears to be the last of the spear guys, but now we had a bigger problem. This stupid crossbow guy won't get to a place where he can be harmed by the bear traps. We tried pushing him into this bear trap here, but I nearly died while trying to do so. I had to run around the entire base and bait him that way in order for him to walk into the traps. Day 17 was mostly spent cleaning up the mess and retrieving some wood just to stay alive. But when night came around, Tao was still balls deep inside the woods. Oh nah, he just barely made it back with that big black deer right on his tail. Thank goodness, day 20. Tomorrow we are going to go raid the basement and save some kids, but first we needed to stock up on some wood. Going to our super dense wood farm, we were able to absolutely stuff this wood shack to the brim, which is pretty sweet. Also made a few stews at night to prepare for the big day tomorrow. And now, it is time. Day 23. Armed with a bear trap each, we bravely entered the front of the cave to confront these little cute doggies. This one guy was really excited to meet us and immediately got turned into a steak. Baiting them one by one, we led them into the bear traps and turned them into meat. Even got ourselves a wolf skin. And just like that, we have ourselves the key. Smashing the key into the hole, I entered the cave and put this little kid into my big fat sack. I also found a crazy-looking diamond. Nice. I went home and let the kid out of my sack. Also cooked some of the meat we got from the wolves, which is pretty sweet. Guess the kid doesn't really like our base. Day 27. Our day multiplier is now at 4. And looks like we're about to get touched again tonight. Oh nah. I immediately stocked up on a ton of wood and crafted us yet another bed. Literally anything to make this faster is good for us. We stored the rest of the wood and now it is time. As the goofy-looking deer guy peered over us, the invaders came inside. I eliminated one right off the bat, but the real issue came when dealing with these crossbow guys. I was losing health fast, and the only way to get them to follow me is to run really far away from them. Eventually, I did get my guy, but now we had to help Tao. He's not gotten a single kill yet, and all the attention was on him. As I repeatedly reset the traps, he baited the weird guys over them, even had one who survived until the morning. And that brings us to day 32. I ain't gonna lie when I say this, but we literally got nothing done except almost die to the deer when our fire went out. Day 37, and I was out exploring. The first thing I came across was a fuel canister, which is just perfect. The more fuel, the better. After exploring for a tiny bit, I stumbled upon a little watchtower. Sneaking past some stupid wolves and going inside, I found myself my very first piece of armor. Sure, it was poop-colored, but at least it was something. Looking around, I found yet another leather chest plate. Useless, again. Seeing that the map was nearly completely explored, we needed yet another expansion. I found myself yet another good axe, which was completely useless, and a completely looted hospital. Before the day ended, Tao somehow found a way to expand the map, which is pretty cool. I made it back to base right as night started, and that concludes day 37. Day 42. And we were in the mood for putting some kids in our sack. Armed with a bear trap each, we bravely made our way to the entrance of the labyrinth, which held that little stupid kid. But this time was different. These wolves are built different, way stronger than the ones from last time. As they all viciously mauled Tao, I tried my best to set up the traps. Was lucky enough to turn one doggy into a steak. This is gonna be way more difficult than I thought. I tried my best to set up the traps, tried to run around them, but that only gave them a chance to nibble a bit on me. I popped a bandage, then a stew. It was going to be night any minute now, and my resources were depleted. Other wild wolves from the area joined in on the fun, but I was able to kill the final guard dog and get the key. But now we had another issue. It was turning night. There was going to be attackers, and we were both balls deep inside the forest. Leaving Tao behind, I immediately did a 180 and sprinted right back to base. Did my best to set up the bear traps, but we did end up losing some in the forest. I tried making more, only to be met with this. Oh nah, we're just gonna have to work with what pathetic amount we have left. These bow guys were locked the freak in tonight because this one guy hit about 3 or 4 shots in a row on me. I was low, hid behind the fire. Tao was also getting mauled. I tried to help out, even landing a few bear traps on his guys. But now we had a bigger issue. The bow guys were inside our base now, and they would not budge. I tried putting a bear trap under them, but they still wouldn't budge. I was on my last little bit of health now. Tried baiting both of my bow guys outside. Worked for one guy, but now I was one hit away from death once again. This final bow guy came to walk me down, and I had absolutely no bear traps left to counter him with. I got Tao's attention and was able to circle back to base, where we finally defeated the last little bit of cultists. Way too close. We spent the entirety of day 47 on like 3 bow guys. Day 52. Armed with our bear traps, we went back to the cave to finish the job. It went pretty smoothly. I was able to sack the kid pretty quick and also found another leather armor. Right before the day ended, I found a water tower which I sadly didn't have the time to explore before night came around. We both also nearly got killed by the deer when the fire went out while we were bullying him. Overall, today was pretty peak. Day 58. In the morning, I went back to the water tower only to discover a diamond inside the chest, which isn't really crazy anymore. We were gonna also be invaded tonight, which is a bit of an issue. Stocking up on a ton of stew, we thought we were ready. But oh boy, was I wrong. After setting up the traps and giving a little motivational speech, the fellas came over, this time bringing maces. They were no longer playing around. We were able to take down 2 of these guys right off the bat, but while trying to get some bear traps, I got sniped by this crossbow guy. Luckily, Tao revived me, but one of the first things I did after that was get hit in the head with a Mac and lose nearly all of my health. Not cool. We did make it to the morning, but I ultimately died while trying to bait the last few over the bear traps. Now it was all up to Tao. He also did get smacked in the head with a mace, but he was able to kill the mace guy. 2 left. Eventually, the bow guy also tripped over, and Tao was able to make it to the night. That was 2 entire days of fighting, but ultimately we came out on top. Day 70. I now lived inside Tao's sack. He needed to find a bandage and revive me fast before more cultists came because there's no way he can solo all of them at once, especially not this late in the game. He opened a few chests, even finding an oil barrel, but none of them contained a bandage. But now we had a bigger issue. The campfire was out and he was stranded somewhere in the woods. He was running around blind all while the deer was right on his tail looking for a basically invisible campfire. Some stupid little dog also spawned, but luckily he made it back to base and lit the fire. This game just loves edging me, I swear. Day 76 came around and the raiders were back. He had to get a bandage before night or we'd all be cooked. Luckily, after running around for about 2 minutes, he finally found the bandage seconds before the night started. We flew back to base, munching on peppers on the way. I was able to just barely make it and resurrected our pathetic-looking fire by putting carrots into the bioprocessor. And they were here. This ain't gonna be pretty. Almost instantly, all of these guys got on Tao's case. Literally 3 crossbow users and 2 maces were chasing him. I helped to set up some traps, and we ultimately were able to take all of them down with Tao in the orange. And now we are on to day 86, the finish line in sight. Today was pretty peaceful. Did a bit of wood harvesting. Also had a crap ton of scraps somehow. Day 88. And now we had our eyes on bigger fish. We were to prepare everything we had to our disposal and go raid the Stronghold, armed only with stews and bear traps. Tao ended up running home with the deer on his tail yet again. Day 94. And we were going to go to the Stronghold and put out a grand final stand. And just like that, we're in. First few went pretty smoothly. These guys were extremely stupid, stepping over each trap we put out for them. I mean, this guy literally walked backwards into a trap. But now we had a bigger issue. It was turning night, the deer was on his game tonight, and we were also getting invaded. But this time their numbers were up. While trying to set up a trap, I got hit with 2 entire maces and died on the spot. Tao did end up living, but I low-key ran out of room to record the final cutscene. And just like that, we've made it through 100 days in the forest without using a single weapon. Tao tried one more time to raid the Stronghold, but got sniped on floor 1 and died. If you did enjoy, remember to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.